I'm going to share with you my best procrastination hack. It's helped me a lot. And this works whether you're cleaning out the garage or making your sales calls or anything else that you might avoid, because when we avoid doing something, then we feel bad, right? Then we want to feel good. So we feel good by eating or watching TV or doing social media or making some excuses or something like that. So this cuts through all that real quick. My procrastination hack, my best one, is to do just one thing. Just do the first step of what you're avoiding, because that opens the door, it makes it doable, and starts the momentum going. So just pick the easiest thing. One fellow that I coached had a resistance to making his sales calls. I said, just make one, and then text me back when you've done that. And he did, and he wanted to make 150 more calls that day. So this really does work because it opens the door. It starts the momentum rolling, and it's like the Lay's potato chips. You can't eat just one, and it's like that. So a suggestion, don't sit down to read a book. Just say, okay, I'm just going to read the first chapter. And most people continue reading because it's enjoyable, and it wasn't such a big task as they thought. For me, what I put off is juicing my organic vegetables. I make these green organic juices that I drink through the week, and doing my exercises. So with juicing, each of them take about 40 minutes to do. And maybe I don't want to take a whole 40 minutes aside from what my momentum is that day. So I go, okay, I'm just going to take a 5-minute break right now, and I'm just going to lay all the vegetables out. I'm going to clean them and lay them all and get them ready to juice. I don't have to juice right now. I'm just going to lay out the vegetables. And I do that. That's easy, first step. And then short time later, maybe I want to take another break and go, okay, now I'll just finish juicing the vegetables because they are all laid out. It's already started for me. It's easy to continue something I already started before. In fact, sometimes before I finish a task, I might lay out just the thing for the next task, because that seems to make it easier for me to get back to that thing. It's weird, but that really works for me. And exercising is another thing that I do. I have like a 40-minute routine, but when I don't want to take 40 minutes, I'll say, I'm just going to do one. So then I do one. Usually I do about 3 to 5 because it feels good. And I'm on the floor anyway, and I keep going. And then I'll come back later and I'll say, okay, I can do the other 5 because I'm already half done. It'll be no big deal to complete the other 5 and feel good about it getting done. Do you remember Nando Parrado, the fellow who walked over the Andes and saved the rest of his soccer team from Chile that crashed in the Andes when they were on their way to a game? Well, 2/3 of the people on that team died as a result of the crash. But he and his buddy were able to walk over the mountains and go get help, and a helicopter came and rescued the other people. And when he and his friend walked over the mountain, the shepherd who saw them said, "Where did you come from?" And he said, "Over the mountain." And the people said, "That's impossible. No man can walk over the Andes. How did you do it?" And he said he didn't think about walking over the Andes. He just took one step at a time. He just focused on the one step that he was on that was ahead of him. I can take one step. He might be exhausted and tired and starved and freezing and all that stuff, but he just took one step. Another tip he said was that he was focusing on his father, who he knew would die of a heartbreak if he didn't get back to him. So ever since I heard that, I practiced that. Just the step in front of me, I can do that. I know an author who says, I'm going to sit down, I'm not going to write my book, I'm just going to write the first title, I'm just going to write the title, then I'm going to write the subtitle, and then I'm going to write the first sentence. And that's what he did, started his ball rolling. So it's like divide and conquer. It's much easier than focusing on the whole darn mountain. That can make you tired before you even start. But just one step, I can do that. I also have another tip of listening to audios or YouTubes while I juice or exercise, so it makes it kind of enjoyable. Oh, I want to hear that audio, so let me go exercise. Another tip I found is to do it well, do something well, really get into it, really do it with excellence, and do it with all my heart. Have you heard of that famous Brother Lawrence, the famous monk in the monastery, who they gave him a mountain of potatoes to peel every day, like the most boring job in the monastery? But what he did is he started practicing the presence of God as he was doing this and was lifted up into a very ecstatic state. A friend of mine heard about this and she goes, I wonder if I could apply that to my dishes, because I always procrastinate, put it off. I don't like doing dishes, I put that off. So she started practicing this too and experiencing this too. She said pretty soon I was looking around the house to see if there was any more dishes to wash. So that helped her. Now, I collected a bunch of other cool little tips to help you to overcome procrastination. So see if you like any of these. Mel Robbins is a lady you might have seen on YouTube or TV. And she overcame months of depression when she watched a rocket ship launch on TV. And she said, I wonder if I can use that countdown to get myself out of this bed. And she counted 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, blast off. And it got her out of the bed. She goes, wow. Okay, so she's used that a lot since and shared that technique with people. Another tip is to remember how you will, while you're doing, if you're about to approach a task, remember how you're going to feel afterward, how good you feel when you clean that garage or make those sales calls. And remember how bad you feel if you don't make them. Another tip is to plan a reward for yourself. Like, okay, after I do this task, I get to buy myself a new outfit, or go on a camping trip, or go to a concert, something like that. Another tip from one of my clients is she said she remembered her why. She would put a picture of her kids there and look at that when she made her sales calls. Another one is give yourself a consequence if you don't. Like, okay, if I don't do this thing, I gotta wash my brother's car for him. If I don't do this thing, I gotta pay my ex $1,000. And it helps if you tell somebody else that to hold you accountable for that too. More likely to do it. Another tip is do it with someone. Like you make sales calls with other people in a big room or online nowadays, and then you keep track of how many, you kind of have a contest and a prize for who sets the most appointments for the next day. And that's why people like to go walking together too, isn't it? Because it's easier when you go with someone else. Another tip I have is setting reminders. Alarm on your phone or your calendar, put sticky notes around. You know, those annoying sticky notes, I want to take them down, so I'm going to do that thing. Another tip is to do something just for 10 minutes. Say, I'm just going to do it for 10 minutes, set a timer, then I'm going to stop. Another tip is remove distractions. Like I love to turn off my phone notifications or the TV, or if you're home with other people, put a sign on your door, do not disturb, that helps. Another tip is have a supportive environment, because if the lighting's good and things work and it's comfortable and everything, you're more likely to do that task. Another tip is to tell someone your goal, because now your word's on the line. I'm going to do this thing. Because if you don't tell anybody, then you don't do it. Nobody knows but you. So some people use social media for that. They'll put a post and say, I'm going to accomplish this at this date. Or they put that in a group that supports them. Or you could tell a trusted friend, mentor, upline coach, support buddy, accountability partner that you're going to do something and what date you're going to accomplish it. Another tip, take a walk in nature for 20 minutes. Refreshes you, gets your adrenaline going, your endorphins going, your blood, your nervous system going, and you're more like bring the energy to the task. Same way if you get enough sleep or take a power nap, because when you feel better, you're more likely to do that thing. Now here's my last tip, is a funny one. It's a body-mind tip. That is massage or strengthen your calves. Being a body-mind therapist, I know that each part of the body has a psychological correlation. And the low leg is about moving forward in life, because you push off with your foot, it moves you forward in life. So if you strengthen, stretch, massage your calf, it activates that in your body mind. So I hope this has brought you some tips that you can use today. Even if you remember one, maybe you might like my favorite one, which is to do one thing to moving forward. I hope this helps you to bust procrastination.